This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
Hello and welcome to PSN Newsrun. Our top stories: Presidential Fertilizer Initiative boosts agricultural production with affordable fertilizer. Nigeria to receive $750 million loan on Tuesday, the 30th of September. And on the international scene, China opens tallest bridge ever, stands at 625 meters above ground level. Stay with us for details. Federal government's Presidential Fertilizer Initiative has begun to transform the agricultural sector, lowering fertilizer prices and reviving local production plants across the country. Here's Joycelyn with the details.
The federal government's Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, PFI, has begun to transform the agricultural sector, lowering fertilizer prices and reviving local production plants across the country. Introduced to reduce reliance on costly imports, the scheme has restored dozens of previously dormant fertilizer blending plants, creating new jobs while ensuring steady supply to farmers. By sourcing raw materials locally and coordinating with state governments, officials say the price of a 50 kg bag of fertilizer has dropped significantly, easing a major burden on smallholder farmers. Dr. Armstrong Ume Tekang, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of MOFE, said the focus of PFI extends beyond mere volumes. According to him, PFI is a prime example of public-private collaboration that can solve complex national challenges, and its future is a testament to Nigeria's capacity for strategic reform.
Culture contributes at least 25% of our GDP. That tells you, and you're in the heart of it. The richness of the soil determines yield, and the yield determines so many other things. But if our soil is destroyed and the potency of the fertilizer that we supply is questionable, then we are creating so much more havoc and destruction for the livelihoods of those millions of Nigerians who are farmers.
President of the Fertilizer Producers and Suppliers Association of Nigeria, PSN, Alhaji Sadiq Kazim, said the number of operational blending plants has increased to over 90 across the country, giving a total blending capacity of up to 13 million metric tons.
Capacity, we have improved from the commencement of the PFI in 2016 to date. There are more blending plants available. We have today the capacity to blend up to 13 million metric tons.
Experts argue that beyond easing access for farmers, the program is improving food security in the face of rising inflation. They note that the fertilizer revival could reduce import bills and strengthen Nigeria's path towards agricultural self-sufficiency. With more blending plants set to resume production in coming months, government officials insist the initiative will not only sustain food production, but also anchor President Bola Tinubu's broader economic diversification agenda. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
The government has made thesis submission mandatory for all graduates before NYSC mobilization in a move to curb certificate fraud and strengthen academic integrity. Ella got the details on this report.
From October, Nigerian graduates will not be mobilized for NYSC unless they submit proof of thesis or project work under a new federal government directive. The policy, approved by President Bola Tinubu, comes under the National Education Repository and Data Bank, NERD. A circular from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, says compliance is now compulsory for all graduates, home and abroad. The rule requires proof of academic project or thesis deposit before NYSC mobilization, exemption or exclusion. It applies across universities, polytechnics and College of Education. Government says the move will curb certificate racketeering, strengthen academic standards, and create a verifiable national database. Institutions must set up repositories and link them with the national system for validation. The policy also introduces a monetization model. Students and supervisors can earn lifetime revenue tied to deposited academic works. While it raises the bar for integrity in higher education, the policy may pose compliance challenges for institutions and graduates abroad. Still, officials insist the NYSC will only celebrate graduates whose work is verifiable. Ella Okechukwu, PS News.
Nigeria's government is pushing back against reports of a so-called genocide against Christians, insisting the country's insecurity is not driven by religion. Let's hear the details from Miriam.
The Nigerian government has dismissed reports alleging a genocide against Christians, insisting the country's security crisis is not driven by religion. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs pushed back against claims made in foreign reports that Christians are being systematically targeted in Nigeria. Officials said the violence often linked to terrorism, banditry, and farmer-herder clashes affect both Christians and Muslims and should not be misinterpreted as a religious persecution. The government stressed that Boko Haram and other armed groups indiscriminately attack communities regardless of faith, warning that framing the conflict as a Christian genocide risks deepening sectarian divides. The minister also accused foreign groups of using incomplete data to push Nigerians towards international censures. Still, religious leaders such as Bishop Wilfred Anagbe argued that destruction of churches and killing in rural Christian communities amount to the silent genocide. This sharp contrast in narrative has fueled an ongoing debate both locally and internationally. With tensions high, Nigeria continues to navigate its insecurity challenges without letting it spiral into a crisis of faith and identity. Marianne Awuya, PS News.
On business, Nigeria is poised to receive 2 new World Bank loans worth $750 million aimed at bolstering healthcare and digital infrastructure across undeserved regions. Joycelyn is on the business desk.
Nigeria is set to receive 2 World Bank loans worth $750 million this Tuesday. The funds target digital infrastructure expansion and stronger health security in what could be a major boost for underserved communities. The World Bank disclosed that $500 million will go into the Bridge project designed to expand broadband, build fiber optic networks, and connect rural areas to digital economy. The other $250 million is earmarked for health security, strengthening Nigeria's readiness against epidemics and improving surveillance systems. The Bridge project will run through a special purpose vehicle, with the federal government holding 51% and private investors 49%. Officials say the plan will link all 6 geopolitical zones to Lagos via regional data hubs. Meanwhile, the health loan will be managed through the Nigeria Center for Disease Control under the Ministry of Finance. Analysts welcome the focus on critical sectors, but warn that Nigeria's rising debt burden and weak institutions could undermine impact if transparency is not enforced. The loans, if well managed, could transform Nigeria's digital assets and health capacity. But as the funds arrive, the challenge remains: turning borrowed money into sustainable growth without worsening the debt trap. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
On state news, Lagos has launched a 2-year plan to tackle flooding by integrating lakes, canals, and drainage systems. But will it finally end the city's annual flood crisis? Daniel takes us through the plan.
Lagos State has rolled out a 2-year flood control plan aimed at integrating canals, drainage networks, and regeneration projects to tackle the city's perennial flooding. Flooding has long haunted Lagos, especially low-lying areas like Lagos Island, where daily life and commerce are often disrupted. Blocked canals, illegal structures, and heavy rains have combined to worsen the crisis. The new plan focuses on restoring drainage rights of way, clearing canals, and building new pumping stations to manage stormwater. Urban regeneration projects in parts of Lagos Island, including Adeniji-Adele, Idumagbo, and Jankara, are expected to last between 9 and 24 months. The state has already demolished 1,100 illegal structures along drainage channels, warning residents and businesses to stop encroachment and indiscriminate waste dumping. Officials insist the emergency flood abatement gang will now work year-round to maintain canals and drainages. Environmental experts say the initiative could cut flood damage, protect public health, and ease pressure on infrastructure, but success depends on consistent enforcement, funding, and public cooperation. With rainy season growing more intense, Lagos' two-year plan is a race against time. The coming months will reveal whether the strategy can finally keep the city afloat, or if residents will still be wading through the waters. Reporting for PS News, Daniel Okejeme.
On the international scene, Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina has dismissed his energy minister as the country battles crippling power cuts that last more than half the day. Marianne filed in this report.
In Madagascar, public frustration has boiled over as daily blackouts stretch beyond 12 hours, disrupting businesses, schools, and hospitals. President Andry Rajoelina responded this week by sacking the energy minister, accusing the ministry of failing to tackle the worsening crisis. The move comes after weeks of mounting anger from citizens who say power outrage has paralyzed economic activities and made life unbearable. Reports suggest Madagascar's aging power infrastructure and mismanagement in the energy sector are fueling the outrages, with limited investments in alternative energy sources. Analysts warn the president's decision may be more political than practical, as the cabinet reshuffle alone may not end the blackout without deeper reforms and fresh investments. For now, the sacking signals the government can no longer ignore the impact of prolonged outages on Africa's largest island nation. Marianne Awia, PS News.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the continent, China just opened its tallest bridge ever, a towering engineering marvel that slashes travel times and sets new standards in mountain infrastructure. Here's the report. In Guizhou province, China has officially opened the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge, now the world's tallest bridge, rising 625 meters above the canyon floor and spanning nearly 2,890 meters. Construction began in early 2022 in the rugged terrain of Huajiang Canyon. Engineers overcame extreme geography using advanced techniques, including satellite navigation, drone inspections, intelligent monitoring systems, ultra-high-strength steel, and multiple patented innovations. The main span alone stretches 1,420 meters, making it the largest span bridge built in a mountainous region. Places the Beipangjiang Duj Bridge, which stands at 565 meters, as the highest in terms of deck height. The bridge opened to traffic on September 28, 2025, after passing its final stress test, including a load test involving 96 trucks carrying a total of 3,360 metric tons. Officials say the new route cuts travel time across the canyon from roughly 2 hours down to about 2 minutes, vastly increasing connectivity for this remote region. Experts highlight the bridge's potential to spur tourism, economic growth, and infrastructure development in Guizhou, but also caution about long-term maintenance, environmental impact, and ensuring safety standards are rigorously upheld. China's Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge is a bold signal of what's possible when engineering, ambition, and perseverance meet at dizzying heights. Reporting for PS News, Oluwatosin Deba. And that's our package on Newsrun. Join us again tomorrow for stories making headlines. I am Oluwatosin Deba. Good evening.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.